this. And because I mean, there's people that have said that Zillow's it's gonna overtake the real estate market, and real estate brokers aren't gonna have a job anymore in the end.
Some won't, probably. Some won't. And I think that's the other thing is when you have agents like Hayden who is willing to go to the house and do a video tour for these people. Again, that's what most companies are probably looking at. How can they replace that specific service that is being given to their clients?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tat Nation podcast, where we discuss the Spokane real estate market news and things going on in the area. My name is Connor Phelan. I'm the marketing director here, joined today by Hayden Halstead, real estate agent, and Kyle Nash, director of onboarding. First things first, we are going to pick a winner for the Crimson Hearth gift card later on in this video. But first, I believe Kyle has a few things he wants to talk about to get started today.
Yeah, we're just going to go over the numbers, Connor. So last week we had 2,111 active listings. This week we dropped a net of 21. So we're at 2,090 active listings. So actually we dropped quite a bit in active listings and new listings, and both pendings and closeds went up quite a bit. So pending listings, we got a positive net of 66. So 66 more contracts than we did the week prior. So we're at 425 pending listings, which accounts for about 18% of the market. And then we closed a few more as well. So last week we closed 186. This week we closed 241. So quite a bit more. Like I said, I think season slowing down a little bit. People are closing on their houses and starting to be fall time. Honestly, a lot of the smoke and the fires and stuff that's been going on too, people probably not wanting to get out and look at some houses and get stuff under contract, or sellers maybe waiting. So I don't know. Hayden, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, I have like a bunch of buyers ready to go right now, and it's just been a struggle just finding them a house with the criteria that they need. And so there's just not a lot of options out there to pick from. And so that's kind of the thing I've been noticing. It's just there are still buyers out there, but now if it's a buyer with particular needs, it can be pretty tough to get them what they're looking for.
Right. Well, we're going to get some more listings and we'll put them on the market. So hopefully we got some coming up here and we'll be able to help some people out. I know this time of year, a lot of investors kind of come out of the woodwork and start trying to find some deals. So that's what we'll be waiting for. So sweet. Couple other things. Wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess, kind of get into what we wanted to talk about today. Something that kind of been on my mind since I first got started in real estate was just talking about, I got started because I was looking and I was watching shows on HGTV and all those kinds of things like Fix or Flip or Fixer Upper. And I mean, I think every single one has something like fix in its title, or flip or flop or all those things. So just kind of wanted to talk today. I was looking at an article this morning about just a show on HGTV that was actually being called out for some of the things that they do as contractors, and they cut corners and things like that. And I just kind of wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about what you see on HGTV is nothing like what the real estate market is actually like in working with a realtor. A lot of the time when I first like I said, when I first got started, I was like, I was super excited to work with flippers and find them a house that's a good deal. And they look at, their ARV, their after repair value and what they can sell it for. Kind of got me thinking, as I've been in real estate longer, had a little, I don't know if it's a weird theory, but thinking that maybe, does HGTV actually have like separate little LLCs or businesses that they just buy up houses and then they actually sell them, or they hire actors or whatever to actually come in, look at the house, and then basically make a decision for HGTV to sell products by fixing that house up. Yep. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I don't watch much HGTV. I'll be honest with you, but whenever I go to my mom, she watches it, and when it's on the TV, I'm looking at it, and there's always a husband and a wife normally, and they're going through the house, and the guy usually fixes everything up, and the wife's normally there telling everybody what to do, and kind of typical, I guess you could say. But I don't know. It's a reality TV show. I don't really buy in too much to what I see on reality TV shows, especially like those
call it reality. Yeah.
housewife stuff, dude.
Yeah.
I can't stand this stuff.
No,
But
oh, man.
I'm not the right guy to ask about that stuff. I just don't watch it enough to know, what goes on the HGTV flipping.
Yeah.
But I know flipping is a good business, and you said that you were interested in working with those kind of people. Or are you not? Is that not someone you normally like to work with now, or what do you mean by that?
Well, I don't discriminate on people that I work with. However, with house prices going up, they are a harder demographic to work with generally, from my experience, because, again, they're looking for deals. Right now, there are not a lot of deals out there unless we just have stuff in our back pocket that people don't want to go on the market or anything like that. They just want to get it sold, and whatever they need to get out of it is what they need to get out of it. They're not looking to get top dollar. So those are the types of deals that most investors are looking for. So I don't know, Hayden, if you want to talk on that.
I mean, I said this earlier to some people today. It was like, as soon as a house actually hits our MLS here, I don't consider it a deal anymore, because there's just so much competition out there.
Right.
And really, once it's been listed with a realtor and they've done their comps and stuff, I mean, obviously it's their due diligence, their job to list it for top dollar and get the seller as much as they can. And so yeah, in our market, as soon as something has hit the market, it's no longer a deal. And so those fix and flippers, as long as they're doing their job and they do it right, they're obviously, they're finding those off-market deals. And as a realtor, if you do that yourself and you're out there driving for dollars and looking for distressed properties and vacant properties and stuff, that's the way we can add value to them. But it's a matter of taking that extra step to actually be looking for properties that need some help. So
Yeah, and they're very few and far between from what I've seen. I mean, when I got started in 2015, there were quite a bit, and then they just keep getting snatched up, and it's just it's harder and harder to find those deals.
It's not really a flipper's market.
No, when it's a seller's market, it's generally not, because it's great for them because they're gonna make a good amount. Based on, our home prices have gone up 16%, something like that. I think right now in Spokane it's $304 for the average price. Again, when I got started, I mean, you could get a deal for maybe $200 and put 20 grand, 30 grand into it and then sell it for 300. Yeah. And that's you're getting a return on that. Generally, most investors are looking for, a specific number that they want for, their cash on cash return, or their return on what they invested. So they want a certain number, and generally, if you're an agent and you've been doing it long enough, or how to calculate those numbers for, a client, they're going to give you, I want to spend this amount. Is it worth me buying this? Can I get this out of that house?
Right.
So,
and taking into consideration taxes and capital gain and all that stuff. I mean, that's
I guess the capital gains thing, I definitely think you should always talk to a CPA, because that's something, if you're paying cash for a house, generally, I mean, if you make, from what I understand the rule, if you make over $100,000, then that's when you start paying taxes on capital gains. But anything under that, you're not taxed on it. So, and again, you want to talk to a CPA about that. Right. So, and I've had a lot of people ask me, questions about that stuff, and that's exactly what I tell them. Like, I know enough, but I definitely want to tell them, like, verify this with a CPA. This is what I've heard, but I've also heard other people say, well, I got to pay capital gains on it. So
this is not financial advice for anybody out there.
And I mean, the flippers that I know here in Spokane that are doing it successfully are spending more than $10,000 a month on marketing specifically for those distressed properties and those sellers that need out of their house. And so I mean, there's people that love HGTV and Joanna Gaines and stuff like that, and they want to flip a house and they think it's fun, but it actually just takes a significant amount of work unless you had family member pass away and you had a house given to you and you were able to do some work that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the other thing I was kind of alluding to earlier on the HGTV thing, if this theory is even correct, or even if it's remotely accurate, if some entity is buying those properties, HGTV wants to be involved because they sell products. They have lines of paint. Joanna Gaines has a line of paint, and they have a specific line through Target. So the people that they advertise through through those channels, I mean, come on, like, you've got demographic people that you're like, those people that are shopping at Target in that area are going to want to buy things that are in that line, that's made by them because they like those shows. So, I think I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a point that nobody's ever thought of, and I just kind of had a weird car thought this morning when I was on my way to work, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's something that actually happens, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think we're talking about this a little bit earlier too, but even Fixer Upper, I mean, those guys probably own those houses, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's like, whatever, Chip. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's like a licensed real estate agent, and they're flippers, and they do the same thing. They market to distressed properties down there, and they buy them up, and then. Because obviously, when they walk into the home, they have the whole schematic layout already ready to go because they've already been in that house. They already knew what they were going to do to it. And so
how do you get that unless you talk to the seller and say, hey, can we have a crew come in and draw schematics of your house? I mean, if I was a seller, I wouldn't just want to have some random person unless I knew it was Chip Gaines coming through my house. Like, that's the other part too. So kind of one other thing I wanted to talk about, and again, this is at the risk of, we're not trying to slander any agents or anything like that, but I wanted to talk a little bit about what ego in real estate has to do with being a successful realtor, if that's a thing. Or slash, we kind of talked about this, like who are the people that you see on some of these shows? I just watched this one, or I just saw a preview for the one like Selling Sunset or whatever on, and it's like all it is there's two twin brothers that don't get in front of people at all, and the only other people that are selling it are just a bunch of like, I'm sorry, but they're like a ton of them have plastic surgery or something or look like they do, and it's like, all right.
No, I think the Oppenheim group's actually pretty sweet though, because like Jason Oppenheim, because I love Graham Stefan on YouTube, and that's the broker she works for.
Yeah.
And then so I know like Jason Oppenheim, he's only been a broker for like maybe 8 years or 10 years, something like that, and they were working at Coldwell Banker, and he like for his third year, he had only sold in like 3 years, like less than 10 houses.
Yeah.
And then it just like kept going and going after that. So yes, I mean now he's rolling in it, and you can watch his house tour on YouTube. It's pretty sweet.
Do you think he makes more money from the show or from selling homes though?
I mean, he's sold some seriously crazy listings in LA, but
you got to do the math on any of those million dollar, multi-million dollar, tens of millions of dollar properties that they may be selling, and the commission on that is, I mean, it's insane.
Well, if they're taking the 6%, I mean, they might just be doing 1% or 2%.
Could, yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just don't know those things. But that kind of brings me to the next idea, next topic, because you guys were talking about, distressed properties, and I know people watching this has probably seen those ads. Hey, we'll buy your house for cash. You've probably seen the sign hanging on the pole and things like that. Yeah. And an investor, we were talking about this, an investor that I follow actually just bought a website, a company called Open Door, which is a online marketplace for buying and selling houses. It's kind of like a Zillow. He paid $4.8 billion, and he's speculating that everything's moving online, retail, I mean everything, and he's speculating that real estate's going to do the same thing in the future, which Zillow's came out and said the same thing. $4.8 billion is a lot to me, but these websites, even Zillow does this. Yeah. They'll give you a cash offer for your home. There's people probably in Spokane, tons of them, that'll give you a cash offer for their home, and ideally what they're doing is they're typically saying, hey, you're going to save on commission, you're going to save on fees and everything like that. We'll just buy it outright right here. And they're offering you anywhere from 60 to 70% on the dollar, so you're not really getting a full price offer, but yet you're saving money on all this commission and stuff like that. So I just think it's kind of a funny topic, and I wanted to get your guys' input on it.
I don't think there will ever be a way, unless we can have robots flying through the house, and kind of joking about this, but have an iPad strapped to a Segway or something going through a house. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where realtors or even just salespeople in general will be completely replaced by the internet. I don't think that's possible. I know Amazon does a huge, obviously, what are they they're the biggest company in the world now, right? And leaps and bounds over, what Apple was. And that's only been the last like 10 years. They just started taking that over, which is crazy. So, in my opinion, I think they have cornered that market of there's certain things that people are too lazy to go to the store to go buy. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this earlier. You wouldn't want to go you wouldn't want to buy a pair of shoes online unless you test them out or you tried them on in the store. Right. So again, the same thing. Like, why would you buy a house without going to look at it? I mean, you'd want to actually walk through the house, take a look at it. There are a lot of people that are buying houses without seeing them. And then, I would say that might be even maybe a quarter of them actually end up closing on them, if that, because they get in and they do an inspection, and then all of a sudden they find out it's like, oh, I don't want this house. So I don't know. Have you had out-of-town buyers that?
Yeah. So I've had a couple, and it's been easy for a few of them, and it was just a matter of video tours, and they just trusted it. But a lot of them are moving here for temporary reasons, and they would plan on selling anyway later down the road, and we'll upgrade then. And so they weren't too concerned, and they just wanted to lock something down before they got here. I have had one where, we got the full 10-day inspection, and then we got more inspection, and he flew up here during that inspection period, and then we ended up backing out of that one because, we have people from out of state coming in with great offers and locking down properties, and then they come up for the inspection period and decide that they're not satisfied with the property at that point, which is tough. But so you'd said the shoe thing, and that's like, obviously you can order a pair of shoes and try it on and return it, not a big deal, but you can't return a house without losing thousands of dollars. So again, I just don't think that people are taking the risk of iBuying and stuff like that, but it's not gonna become a standard, I don't think.
It's just like a time thing too. It's like, I can order the shoes, I can try them on, and they don't fit or I don't like them. How much time is that taking me to do all that when I can just go down to, Walmart or wherever and try on the shoes and come back home, And there's drones. I saw Walmart now is they're testing out drones and things like that to deliver products to your door, and I know Amazon's probably already doing that stuff too, but there's drones, there's the virtual tours and stuff. So I can almost see both sides. I hate to see people fall into the, sell your house for cash and save money on hiring a real estate agent and do all this. And because there's people that have said Zillow's it's gonna overtake the real estate market, and real estate brokers aren't gonna have a job anymore in the end.
Some won't, probably. Some won't. And I think that's the other thing is when you have agents like Hayden who is willing to go to the house and do a video tour for these people. Again, that's what most companies are probably looking at. How can they replace that specific service that is being given to their clients? Mm-hmm. What's going to replace that? They're going to have to learn how to fly a drone. They're going to have to learn. They're going to probably have to get licenses and permission and all that kind of stuff from sellers to even go through the house. If I was a listing agent right now and I'm not getting 3D tours of my property or of my my seller's property, you're leaving money on the table. Yeah. Like, you could market that so much easier. So again, that's the other thing too, is like, are you willing to market it that way, or are you going to take advantage of the market right now and just say, I don't even need to put it on the market. I know it's going to sell because I've already got people that I'm working with that want to buy it, which is also that happens. So, right. What I've also seen is, and this is kind of something that we train here too, but a lot of agents, they want homes to go on the market because it's called pimping a listing, right? They want to put it on the market so that they can have their sign in the yard, and that when people drive by, it's free market, or it's not free, but it's marketing for themselves. So in my opinion, a sign in the yard does nothing for a home other than just broadcast it to everyone in the neighborhood. Really, marketing a home is what? You're putting it on the internet for everyone to see it. Mm-hmm. That's how you market a house. Yeah. I don't know. So when I see all these signs all over the place, and somebody says, I want a sign here, I want a sign in front of my yard, I want a sign at this intersection, and I want all of these things around, it's like, that the only point of that is just advertising. That's all we're doing. Yeah. So that we can gain essentially free clients, and they call in on our sign. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. But like I said, once we start getting drones and people can fly through houses, I think that's that's going to be when our job is no longer, which then we're still going to find agents who say, I learned how to fly a drone and I'm really good at it. Yeah. So you want to hire me and I'll go fly a drone through this house.
The go-getters.
Right. That's essentially what you're doing. So don't take that idea. That's mine. I'm patenting that right
Trademark.
now. TM. I don't, just consider, and when you're talking to agents, if agents aren't willing to go and walk through a house for you, then they're probably not going to be a good fit. So
Yeah.
um,
I did have another question. So I know we were talking about flipping earlier, and I'm kind of reversing here, but
Yeah.
we're in a seller's market. How long have we been in a seller's market for?
like at least 5 to 6 years now. Yeah, I've been in 6 years, and it was pretty much as soon as I started, it was a seller's market. Maybe just a little bit before that. So
Is there like any data on like how that goes? I know it has a lot to do with like rates and
real estate,
all that
as
stuff,
far as real
yeah.
estate like being cyclical, it's every 10 years or so is when you'll see it, and then it'll kind of dip back down, and then I think it's between 7 and 10 years. It always kind of aligns with like when most people, when they like, you're going to see a ton of people buying, in the last 6 or 7 years, and then they're going to buy again in the next 7 or 8 years. So it kind of like, 6 years ago when it was still lower, but it was still a hot seller's market, not as many people buying. Then now everyone's trying to buy. It's a ton of sales going on. Then it's going to hit that dip, and then all those people that bought, in that 7-year window aren't going to be looking anymore, and now they're going to be looking again. So
Yeah, it's just interesting because people are saying we're in a recession. Apparently, a lot of people out of jobs and things like that. But the real estate market is just booming right now. I listen to the talking heads, and they say real estate is like the reason the economy's still running.
yeah,
And it's just so interesting, the economics of everything.
that the media will post, and they'll make you think what it wants you to think.
Right.
Ultimately, I don't know if we're going to get flagged for talking about that, but that's ultimately what happens, right? Like, they could say that, yeah, we're in a recession, but if we see they can blame it on COVID for all, the amount of job loss or anything like that. It's been how long have we been in this now? Since March, so 6 months. Yeah. I can't even believe it. Yeah. So we've been in this for 6 months. What does a recession generally last? A couple of years, longer than that. It could be. So
be a lagged effect or something.
yeah. And that's the thing, is we're talking about the difference of a U recession versus this was an immediate bounce back. This was a V. So it just like people freaked out because nobody knew what to do.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to slowly figure it out, and it's kind of coming back up. So
And it's like the economy's not bad because people aren't losing jobs because the economy's bad. It's just because of something that happened that caused all these places to shut down.
Yeah.
But like the minute all this goes away or whatever, we get a vaccine, whatever the case, the election happens and everything goes away, everyone's going to go back to work. These restaurants are going to open up again. These retail stores are going to open up again, and everything's just going to go back to normal. Or is it? Who knows?
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. This just popped into my mind. It's like, what happens when there's like a hurricane or a tsunami and businesses get, completely destroyed? Do we call that a recession? No. Those people don't have jobs, and they don't have a business now. That's a lot different than what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So why we're calling this a recession, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. So
Yeah, it's just interesting times we live in. What do you say we pick the winner for the Crimson Hearth $50 gift card?
let's do it.
All right. So I just took the link. I'm going to put it in this random comment generator here. And we had 23 people enter. I'm going to hit get comments. Again, 23 people. Hit start. And the winner is Kathy Motzer. Hope I said your name right. Kathy. I know Kathy. She's entered into like all our giveaways.
Nice.
Congratulations,
Kathy.
Awesome.
We'll shoot us a message, and we'll get you that. You can come pick it up here at the office. Again, $50 to Crimson Hearth. And we're going to be doing those twice a month. So if you guys have a restaurant that you like, please let us know what it is, and we'll go ahead and check that place out. Go support their business, get a gift card, and give it away on the podcast.
Awesome. Well, that's all we got. We'll see you next week.
Cool stuff.